Hello guys, and welcome to Build Volume 2 of my Hypercube Evolution 400 by 400 by 500 build. A couple things I had to correct from the first video. When I was going over the parts list, I mentioned that these were solid aluminum rods. These are not solid aluminum rods. These are solid steel rods, or hardened steel rods. And also, I printed out these feet to keep the bottom rail 10 millimeters up off the bed. Well, that's not going to work because the stepper motors for the dual Z are taller than that. So I raise these up, and I'm leaving about 1/4 of an inch clearance below each stepper motor for airflow, because the motors get hot, and I don't want them sitting directly on the bed or whatever tabletop they're on to have, I want them to dissipate heat to keep cool. So those have been raised a little bit. So anyway, let's get on with assembling the bed, putting it together here. This is 2020 extrusion. I've got my 4 mounts here that go on each corner, and I've already installed popped the linear bearings in 2 of them to see how they go together. They just slip right in. They're a real tight fit. And I put my T-nut in with one of my bolts. I'll slide it in, and it goes in flush right there to the end of the 2020 extrusion. Get those T-nuts turned the right way. Wish I could play music in the background, but YouTube might get upset. Well, I know they'd get upset. It's pretty stupid. Free advertising for all the artists out there. You put this piece on, you just flush it up at the end of the 2020 extrusion. I'm going to have to take one of my bolts out here to get that second one tightened. Well, these 2020 T-nuts are very tiny. Thought about doing a live stream, doing this. Like I said, keep me busy. I could talk to people online. They could ask me questions, and I could keep me occupied. It's working out pretty good. And for these linear bearings, I'm going to use PTFE lubricant that I have 3-in-1. Unless there's something better out there, I'll have to check into it. If not, I'll just lube with those. Or lube with it. So how's everybody doing tonight? Feels good and snug. Alright, we got that. Put the inside brackets on it. And I'm sure there'll be people in the comments say, well, why'd you do this, or you should have did that. Well, I'll figure that out. But I appreciate the comments. That's how we all learn. Whenever I get lost and I can't find the answer in a video or online, I'll go in a group and I'll ask somebody. And people are more than happy to explain how they did it. They give me their opinion. You know, I should try to help people whenever I can when they have printer problems. But like I say, a Hypercube is something new to me. I mean, it's still the same type of knowledge, it's just, you know, a little different building it. And that's why I bought this. One reason I bought it, I wanted something to build. I enjoy putting stuff together. So I'm in no hurry to get it done in 2 days or anything. It takes as long as it takes. It's a project. And I'm retired, so it's just a hobby. Okay, take the bearings, they're a tight fit, or that one wasn't, pop them in flush. They go flush to the outside edge, there is a gap in the middle. Slight gap, maybe 1/2 inch. Put those two in. And that's done. Now we'll move on to the frame over here. And let's see, I might have to readjust my camera for that. So let me set this out of the way. Bring my webcam down here and reposition it. Bear with me for a second. I guess that's okay. It seems to me there's something I'm missing here. There's some bolts I'm missing. Yes, there's some bolts I'm missing. Okay, let's set that webcam back out of the way. And I have some to go in here on the ends. And get those put in. So I try to lay out my parts before I started filming, that way I wouldn't be fumbling around. Because if you've seen in my videos, I take long enough as it is. So no reason to wait longer. And I think it was Andrew S. that watched my first video and his cat was watching it, liking. So if you're watching Kitty Kitty, hope you like this. I seen he took a screenshot and he reposted on Facebook. And I do read everybody's comments. I appreciate everybody's comments. That's it, got them. Okay, let me put that camera back. There we go. Alrighty, okay, let's move on to the Z motors. Those brackets on. Those go center of the frame. And I did mark the frame with a little pin to mark where they go. I'll put those on. And I don't think I'm going to have to adjust those, so I'm going to go ahead and snug them. I've seen a lot of videos leave everything loose, you might have to move them. Well, if I have to move them, I got to move them, but I'll just snug them for now. They're not overly tight. Get both sides done. And this frame is 30-30 extrusion, so these hammer nuts or T-nuts, whichever ones you want to call them, are much larger. They're a little easier to get my fingers on. Okay, these are the top mounts, which I haven't put the bolts in yet. Which are going to go here, and let's see, that goes there, that goes there. Not sure why I didn't pre-install those bolts. There we go. I bought these storage containers about a year ago, these yellow plastic ones here at Harbor Freight, to put goodies in just for printer parts. And I had a couple of them extra that were just sitting around I wasn't using. So when I got all these parts to mail from ZYLTECH, it's like, wow, this is perfect for all the screws. They just come in little tiny bags that you rip open, you can't reseal, and at least most of them did. And this is perfect. Okay, this tapered edge right here goes towards the inside. So you'll have, which this is for the top, so you'll have one that goes here and one that goes here on this top rail. And that tapered edge goes towards the inside. Just going to barely put that on just tight enough to hold it. It's not going to be tight. Yeah, like I said in the first video, this is the first time I've ever printed with PETG, and it's simple. Nothing complicated about it at all, nothing hard. Didn't have any streaming issues or nothing. So I've seen on groups people had trouble, I don't know why. Come on, Bolt, get in there. There it goes. But I don't like polished videos where everything you see is perfect. That's because whoever edited a zillion times. I mean, I do a little editing when it's completely ridiculously stupid, something I do, but not, edit much. Obviously, when you watch my videos, you can see I don't edit much. It still takes quite a bit of time to do what I do. When I do edit, I use Movie Studio Platinum 15. I don't have much money to work with, so I afford what I can get, and it seems to work okay. I just try to make enough money to support my hobby. I'm retired on a fixed income. I just try to make a little extra money here and there to help support the hobby. So I put the links down below for different things people might be interested in. And I appreciate all the help I do get. And if you can't afford the help, that's fine too. I appreciate your comments. And just being my friend on YouTube or Facebook, I don't ask for much. I know somebody made a comment that my videos weren't loud enough. And when I edit, I've got both speakers and have the volume control on it. And in Movie Studio Platinum, I'm way up around 3/4 on the volume, over halfway. So I went ahead and cranked it up a little higher. So I don't know how many people are having trouble hearing me, but I tried to fix it, so if there's an issue. And I'm wearing a lapel mic, but instead of having them up here by my nose where you hear me, what sounds like I'm breathing heavy, I put it down here on my shirt further. My wife says, it sounds like you're breathing hard. I said, well, I'm not. That's just the way my nose is. Okay, the bottom ones go underneath. A taper, once again, that tapered edge will go towards the inside. Remember, your hammer nut has to turn sideways on the extrusion. If you go to tighten it and it's straight, the clamp will just pull back out. So be sure you loosen up and spin it fast with your wrench, and it'll turn sideways against the slot. A friend of mine in Texas mentioned that I ought to do a video on how I slice my programs. So hopefully within the next week I'm going to get on S3D. I've never used Cura, only S3D. I'll load some different parts to different types of models. I drag and drop in the slicer, and I'll show people how I turn them, how I position them, and just basically how I've done things for the last around 3 years or so. If people aren't sure how to do this or that, I'm not saying my way is the right way. I'm saying here's how I do it. Because, you know, everybody appreciates input. Just like people like pictures, or people have hobby rooms, or chairs, or equipment. It gives people ideas on things they might want to do or things they might want to buy. People need ideas from, you know, get ideas from other people. Let's set this in there and see how it's roughly going to look. And loosen these up enough I can move them. Out. That's going to have to be centered, so where's my tape measure? Okay, I'm measuring, let's see, 14.5 inches, so it'll be 7.25 to start. Where's my pen? Let's make a dot. It'll just give me a reference point. And if I should have done something else first, or done something wrong, doesn't matter, I'll fix it. Ain't no biggie. Let's see how this is going to line up. That way, just to get it roughly close, so it looks like we've accomplished something here. I got those bottom ones so loose they're falling out on me. I could have measured them, got more precise, but I figured we can try leaving everything loose. I thought about drinking a Monster Energy drink a bit ago. I was getting tired, but it's getting late and I don't want to be up all night. I already drink coffee, but coffee's never kept me awake, never helped me do anything. And I switched to decaf, so now it's just basically for taste. starting to look like a printer, guys. Just have to grab my torpedo level, wherever it's at. This one's just a little bit too big. And I'll check all these and I'll get them perfectly straight. Put my nuts in the front on all of them. And then turn it over and put the nuts in the bottom on all the lower brackets that I haven't put in yet. And I'll get it all tweaked and straight. And then we'll move on to getting the motors in, Z-rods in. Let me cut the camera here for a minute. I'll come right back. And I'm back. Went and grabbed the torpedo level out of the garage. And before I do that, I'm going to take my stepper motors and stick those on. I'll put the wires in towards the back of the frame. That way I can tuck them and hide them later. They're not later, but you know. Take some M3 by 10 bolts. Screw them in. Something that's always had me baffled. Everybody calls them screws. Well, I live in America, and if it don't have a point on it, it's a bolt. If it's flat on it, it's called a bolt. So I don't know why everybody calls them what they call them. I'll probably do like I did on the first video. I'll have music playing in the background really low. Some people don't like it, but then other people that are watching it, that I'm just kind of bored with me doing nothing, kind of, you know, fills in the dead time. I'll just keep it playing real low. My wife said, well, you don't look at the camera enough. You're supposed to talk to everybody and look at the camera more. Well, there's nobody else here in the room. My dogs are, I don't know where they're at. And, you know, I kind of forget, I guess. But I apologize. Hi, everybody. How's it going? I'm not looking at the camera enough. That's why I figured if I live stream this, you know, I have to pay attention to the comments, and I probably wouldn't get as much work done. But Chris Riley has been doing it for a long time, and he does a great job at, you know, communicating with everybody. I'm not sure if he's watching it on a monitor, if he has a big TV set where he's looking at chat. But I want to get into doing it that way. I just haven't yet, and those are too long. I grabbed the wrong ones. Which ones did I grab? Oh wow, I grabbed the 12s. I'm having more fun building stuff than I am printing and painting, you know? Maybe that's why a lot of guys just like doing builds and stuff, and you know, they don't print as much. They print what they need to for their videos, but they don't do it constantly because they'd rather be building stuff. I think I understand that logic. I got enough models here already printed that I honestly would never have to ever print anything ever again. I have enough stuff that I could clean up and print or paint, you know, that I don't need to print nothing ever. I will, and I see stuff every week online. It's like, wow, I need that. But no, I don't need that. I've done a few helmets lately, a Spawn and a Mandalorian, so, and after, 3 years or so of printing, I finally done something I can wear. I want to do more helmets, slowly get into like cosplay type stuff. It's becoming more interesting than printing small model statues and stuff. Try to print more functional parts. Just like these printer parts, up until now I've never really printed a functional part, but now I've got printer parts that are actually functional and serve a purpose. Or I could have paid somebody to do the same thing I'm doing. At some company somewhere, they would do exactly the same process I'm doing, print them out. And then they may or may not look as good. Okay, the two motors are on. And those aren't perfectly straight. It's centered pretty good eyeballing it. I'm going to call that good for now and tighten it up and see how it looks. Or snug it, not tighten it. Just enough to stop it from moving. Let's check this other one here. I think that's pretty close. But I appreciate it when people give me comments. And I know there's a few people that haven't subscribed to me, and I think because they don't understand what subscribing means. When you subscribe on YouTube, you're not paying for anything. You don't have to pay, you're just signing in your Google account, basically. And it basically creates a blank page that if you ever decide you want to do a video or something, it's already there. And you go in and you can change your name and start uploading videos to it. Or you can do nothing. But that's all subscribing is. It doesn't cost anything. It's alive! Now these rails, of course they're not tight yet. I'll pull them up and flush them. I thought about letting them sit flat on the build platform, but I don't, or on the table. I don't want them, any kind of vibration or anything, so I got to bring them up off the table a little bit and tighten up the set screws. And something was on top of something. But that looks pretty good, and the motors are on. What else can I do today? Alrighty. Okay, my brackets for my lead screws. I've got the anti-backlash nuts, the brass fitting installed onto the bracket that goes on the bed. And they were M3 by 8 bolts, and I've got them screwed in from the bottom. So I'll get these mounted on each side. Get that roughly close. Get the top two in. Okay, now on the lead screws and plumb couplers. The plumb couplers have a small hole on one end and then a big hole on the other end for the lead screw. Now the problem is some people might want to put it on the motor first and tighten it up and then drop the lead screw in. I think that's a bad idea because it will go all the way down and the shaft from the motor will come all the way up to the lead screw. And it's very hard to see where it's got a divider in there to separate the two sizes. So I think the best thing to do would be to put the plumb coupler on the lead screw and then tighten it up. So snug that one up. And another one's here somewhere. Don't know where, but it's here somewhere. Well, it's round. It could have rolled away. Alright, let's just mess with one for now. And I bet you I'm not going to be able to get that up through there, am I? Unless I lift the whole printer. Yeah, it's going to be a problem. Alright. Take the plumb coupler back off and we'll put it on here in a minute. But we'll do the same thing. We'll put it on the lead screw first. Just a minor hiccup. See, I could edit that out, but I bet you I'll just leave it in. Because nobody's perfect. People make boo-boos all the time. Okay, that's good and snug. Let's see, and then I want the flat part of the shaft to line up with that set screw. So that's right there. Let's do the other side first, probably tighten that up. Though I don't have to spin it up and down. Well guys, one of my video files got corrupted when I was editing this video. There's a little bit more I wanted to show you that I hadn't shown you yet. But I'll have the next video, and volume 3, we'll go back over a few things on this one. But like I mentioned, there's a few things I have to tighten up here and there, and then the anti-backlash and that, so I didn't have them put together. When I screwed them down on the lead screw, I'll get that taken care of. But I really appreciate you stopping by, taking the time to watch this video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much, everybody. Happy printing.